Newport Richey, Florida, November 30th, 2021. I will be double talking throughout this video, but you will get the gist of what I'm saying. Kathleen Moore, 34 years old, was last seen late into November 28th, 2021. She was with her on-again, off-again boyfriend, 30-year-old Colin Knapp. The couple had been with friends at a bar in Largo and Indian Rocks Beach that evening. They had been arguing with one another pretty much all night. So after socializing with their friends, the couple would leave together. Colin said he stopped at a 7-Eleven to buy cigarettes close to his home on Carmel Avenue and Seven Springs Boulevard. Colin said she was in the car, meaning Kathleen was waiting for him inside his Cadillac. Police looked to obtain the CCTV footage from the 7-Eleven and couldn't determine if Kathleen had been in the car. Colin said they argued there. He then says the argument continued until they reached his home. When they got inside, they were still arguing, and they were arguing over food. Now, this is where the articles somewhat differ. Either Kathleen left immediately after arriving to Colin's home because they were arguing, and she left with only her backpack. Then he went to work to do a meat inventory at 1:30 a.m. Or he left her at his house, and after the meat inventory was complete, he came back home and she was gone. So all in all, what he's trying to say is that she left on her own. He didn't know if she was on foot, or she didn't know if someone had came to pick her up. He was pretty much sticking by what he said. Officers say they had not seen any surveillance of Kathleen leaving his home. So I'm taking maybe it was a nearby camera, I'm not sure. Or if even Colin had surveillance, I don't know. Police do not believe that she left his home. No one had heard from her after that night, and this was unlike her, friends said. She was returning texts or on social media, but she was not responding. They knew that something was wrong. Her friends and family were extremely worried. When a homeless man was rummaging through a dumpster at the CVS pharmacy, which is not too far from Colin's home, he heard it ringing and answered it. Although the cell phone was cracked and smashed, it still worked. Her friends would do a missing persons report. The investigator on the case, Chris Narco, said Colin Knapp had a lengthy criminal history. 10 previous felony arrests and 9 misdemeanor arrests since 2004. Allegations of drug possession and domestic violence against other women. It wasn't clear if Kathleen had known this about her boyfriend and thought she could change him, like many women do, or if she was in the dark altogether about who he really was. The officer said that the interview with Colin was very cold and Colin was uncooperative and didn't really want to help in any way. He had many inconsistencies in his stories and the things that he had to say about the night and the events that happened. The police would go to the restaurant of where Colin was employed at, the Harold Salter Steakhouse in Port Richey. At the same time, Kathleen's best friend of 23 years, Jessica Brummett, was worried sick over finding her. The Washington Post had a quote by Jessica. Jessica and her family had actually searched wooded areas looking for Kathleen. They handed out missing flyers. She was trying to do anything to draw attention to her friend's disappearance. She said, quote, "She is someone who does matter. Just because somebody's not an influencer, a politician, or a celebrity, they still matter," end quote. The Washington Post article suggested that it may be harder to get authorities to look for a Black woman due to the missing white woman syndrome, which is true. But everyone knows now that a non-white person does have a harder time getting positive love when it comes to the press and media. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother video at another time. So anyway, Jessica was just basically trying to bring attention to her friend's case, sharing her missing flyers on Facebook and trying to get a TikTok to go viral with Kathleen's missing persons information on it. She spoke about the last time she saw her on Thanksgiving. That would be a few days after she would turn up missing. Jessica says Kathleen, who she calls Kit Kat, was helping her mother with the Thanksgiving dinner. The friends saw each other briefly, but she never would have thought that that would be the last time that she would see her friend alive. She, like Kathleen's other friends, worried that they did not see any red flags. I mean, were there red flags? Jessica spoke about how Kathleen was worried about her friend when she was supposed to meet him. Jessica said that should have been a sign that Kathleen was so worried that she would approve of her boyfriend. Now here is where another situation in articles slightly differ. Okay, so back at the dumpster located at Colin's job, there was a litany of blood evidence. In trash bags, there was Kathleen's clothes she had on that night. So what she was wearing was in this dumpster outside of Colin's job. Her keys was in there. Now they say car keys. They don't say just keys or house keys. They specifically say car keys. I don't know if she had a car or if they just meant, home keys. I'm not sure, but obviously she didn't have a car there that night because remember he said that she left on foot. So I just didn't want to confuse anybody by me saying that along with her bloody clothes that she wore that night, there were car keys in the dumpster. There were credit cards in the dumpster and bedding that came from Colin's home. This was all in the dumpster outside of his job. And other articles say it was in a landfill. This is where all the stuff was. But all in all, the stuff was found and the stuff does belong to Kathleen. Colin became the prime suspect and the only suspect, and he was arrested. He was charged with second-degree murder and was being held without bond. Outside his home on Carmel Avenue, a memorial was being held by Kathleen's friends and family.
As the memorial here on Carmel Avenue continues to grow, friends and loved ones tell us they're still struggling to make sense of the news they learned just a day ago.
It's like kind of really setting in now.
Those who loved Kathleen Moore say they're still grasping for words.
She always kept a smile. She always had jokes. Always loved everyone. That's why this is so hard to know that she had to face someone like him on her own. There was no one there to help her.
Moore was found dead on December 7th, a week after she was reported missing. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office has charged her boyfriend, Colin Knapp, with murder in connection to her death.
Police would get a tip that a body was found in a wooded area behind Colin's house. Kathleen was identified by her tattoos. Police felt that Colin had put the body there after he had hid it elsewhere, not thinking that the police would come back and retrack their steps. Plus, they didn't feel that the body had decomposed enough, meaning it wasn't enough rigor mortis that set it in, and there wasn't enough flies around her. They believe that she may have been placed somewhere else and then brought there afterwards. All in all, he was arrested before she was found. So that's pretty good that he is in jail. Her mother, Kathleen Moore, is very heartbroken, as she should be. Her daughter isn't here anymore. Her mother just wanted to know, quote, why couldn't he just let her go? Why couldn't he just walk away? End quote. That was the question that she really just wanted to know. Looking on the Facebook alone, I see Kathleen had a lot of friends that cared about her and are trying to make domestic violence a subject that needs to be talked about more. They posted pictures and videos of their friend saying that they miss her so much. Even her hairstylist, Britt Kendrick, had posted a video of the last time she fixed her hair with the caption, "My baby." A lot of videos I saw with Kathleen in them. The loss of this woman has really hurt a lot of people. And they all wanted to know why he did this. Now, I'm just speculating, but since they were on and off, maybe this time while arguing again, Kathleen said it was over, and this time she meant it. This was something that he couldn't handle. It's always unsafe when a woman who has been abused, and I'm not saying that Kathleen was, I hadn't seen anything that's saying that there was habitual abuse before this, but when a woman is abused and she says it's over and she says it's done, and that abuser sees that it really is this time, then sometimes they do end up murdering them. Now, when you feel, if you are an abused woman or even an abused man, and you're in this type of domestic situation and you really want to leave, don't have a brother, a uncle, a best friend come over to help. That's never good. Because if he's going to murder someone, and I hate to say it, it might be all of you guys. Or it might just be the friend, so this person could suffer even more. If anything, get the police involved and leave, and don't come back for anything after you get your belongings or your whatever you need. Don't come back for anything, because they say when you come back again, either the person will kill you or they'll try to reconcile and do it later. Domestic abuse, if you're in these kind of situations, it never works out. If somebody is physically abusing you and assaulting you, it's not going to stop. It'll stop for a little while, but it's going to always come back because they know they have gotten away with it. And it's just terrible. It's time really for you to leave. Even when children are involved, that's even a worse situation when kids are involved and someone's going through domestic violence, because children, they see this, they watch this. It's a learned behavior. Slightly off the subject, for instance, Chris Brown, he was a young child watching his father abuse his mother, physically abused his mother. Rihanna was a young child watching her mother get physically abused by her father, and they meet each other, and it just happened like clockwork. He saw what he knew, and she saw what she knew, and they pretty much reenacted what happened in their childhood. It's just terrible. You have to get out that situation. You have to stop the cycle. You have to figure out a way out. The abuser, if you are abusing, you can go get psychological counseling, anything to stop your actions. It doesn't have to continue. I just had to pretty much say that. Now, investigator Narcos said, quote, "Please use Kathleen's life Maybe the sacrifice she went through can save someone, end quote. And I saw a post on our Facebook page that was oddly the same thing. So that just pretty much stuck out to me. I know I had people in my family and I had friends that were physically abused at one point, and it just never ended good. Thank goodness everyone was alive, but they always separate, and the emotions and the scars are still there. You have to get out. You have to seek some kind of help. If someone is hitting you and abusing you mentally, physically, they don't care for you. They do not care for you. It's a control mechanism. You have to get out. You have to find your worth, and you just have to leave that situation alone. This is just a sad story. Her friends say that they will always remember how funny she was, how vivacious she was. She was a tomboy when she was younger. She still loves sports. She loved the rapper singer Drake. And even though Kathleen liked to party, her friend Jessica said she had strong ambitions. She just finished training as a phlebotomist and wanted to enroll in Galen College for nursing in St. Petersburg to become a nurse. She had tons of friends that spoke on her behalf and how they missed her. But her mother wants her daughter to be remembered for her bubbly and outgoing personality. My condolence to her family on the passing and the loss of Kathleen. Rest in peace, Kathleen, and of course, justice for Kathleen.